Hey, folks, welcome to the show. I'm Joe, and yeah, we come on this channel every single week and we talk about different topics. Today's not really a topic, today's more of I think, an opportunity. Today's more of an opportunity. I work with leadership teams and systems across the United States, and every week I bring conversations that are kind of worth your 20 minutes. So today's one of those times. I just want you to lean in because we've got something high value. Today, I've got Dr. Katie McGowan in the virtual seat. Katie's Doctor of Education and Program Director and Associate. She's legit. She's doing the work too. Associate Professor at St. Mary's University in Minnesota, which, if you haven't heard, the Executive EDD program is something that is catching a lot of people's attention right now, and exactly why we are having this conversation today. Katie, welcome.
Thank you so much, Joe. Thanks for having us.
You're very, very welcome. Let's skip the pleasantries and get right into it, boss, because our audience probably has as many things going on as you do. So, the problem, let's just zero in on the problem right now. 40 to 50% of doctoral students, and both of us have been, we've been hazed by
Mm.
the typical doctoral program. Not going to ask you how long it took you, but my guess is I was a +2 on top of that. It was a significant part of my journey. But 40 to 50% of students, as we canvass national data, never finished. It's not a rumor, it's fact, it's research. And in your experience, what actually causes that attrition? Why are people falling out of very good programs?
Sure. Well, there are a lot of reasons. You and I both know, and anybody listening, the doctorate is supposed to be hard, right? But we can do hard things. But the majority of folks, half of folks, don't finish. Why is that? Well, first of all, life gets in the way.
Right.
Family obligations, finance, health concerns, things of that nature, things that are sometimes beyond our own control. But then there are also things about a program, structural design, for example, a lack of real solid relationship between the mentor and mentee, or the advisor and advisee when you're at that dissertation stage. A lot of students, as we know, become ABD, all but dissertation, where they finish the coursework because there's such a structured support along the way, and there's a schedule to follow, if you will. But when they get to dissertation work, it's very independent. It's much different, and it's sometimes people fall off in that
Right.
area. It's actually
Life happens, right?
close. Life
I mean,
happens.
just life
Absolutely.
for everybody. And you've got a traditional program in house as well. So
We
this
do.
is not talking about a problematic program. The traditional program has its place. It
Sure
did
does.
for me, it did for you. We're talking about something just a little bit different. Okay,
We are.
that St. Mary's has realized that there is a demand out there for something just a little bit different. Now, I work with traditional doctoral students who also have very important jobs, right? They're very busy people. They're working on chapter 3 of the dissertation, looking at microfiche data from 19 whatever, and getting just pounded by text messages either from their board or from their boss about things that are just crises. And they're saying, again, I'm going to have to push this on, just put it on pause. I'll hopefully get to it next weekend. And that's just kind of the journey that many traditional leaders are forced to take. What is different about this executive EDD program
Sure. Sure.
that might be that opportunity for somebody going, wait, what?
Yeah, sure. So our executive option of our EDD program really is intentionally designed for the adult learner, and the adult learner who is an experienced leader. So we're talking people who are leaders in healthcare, leaders in education, K-12, pre-K-12, higher education leaders, public service leaders, really a cross sector of experienced leaders that are looking for that terminal degree and that increased capacity of knowledge. What's exciting about our executive program is it's 39 credits. It's all done online. You enter the program in a cohort, so you really get to know your classmates and your faculty. Our average class size is about 10 to 15 students, so it's small. You really get to know each other. And very excitingly, we offer as the summative activity, the end result of your program, a capstone project, which is really a way for the student to identify a real world problem, a problem of
Mm,
practice, if you will, something that they're actually experiencing in their real world job. And through the program, you learn different methodologies, different leaderships, things like leadership theory and things of that nature that you're applying right
there you
away.
go. There you go.
You're applying
Isn't
right
that,
away.
I mean, from adult learning theory, I mean, we
Yes,
both know that if it is not applicable to helping me improve my life at work, right?
exactly.
Or my just being able to progress the things that are most important to the bottom line at work,
Absolutely.
what gives? And I think a lot of programs are out there sticking executive labels on things, right? On maybe just a traditional program
Mhm.
that make it a little more convenient uh, and maybe charge more money. But what makes St. Mary's program just a little bit different than just smacking that? We've talked about the practicalities of it.
Yes, yes,
Um,
absolutely.
and I've looked through the program and the brochure language, and we've talked about just the benefits of the program. But outside of the actual design, what is the benefit of this executive program beyond just sticking that executive tag on it?
Sure, sure. I like to often say that the EDD, the Doctor of Education, it's not just a credential. It is a credential, but it's not just a credential. It
Mm,
also captures for the rest of the world, if you will, that you really have the skill set that rises above the rest. And at St. Mary's, University of Minnesota, we are a Lasallian Catholic institution, which really means we have respect and we have this understanding that all people are worthy of education, people are worthy of dignity, and so we lead with that in our mission and in our coursework and in our methodology and in the executive program. So we're really helping leaders to emerge that are equity minded, who respect all,
yeah.
respect the respect for the common good. We're leading with ethical leadership and things of that nature. And so, really, that's foundational to our program, and we're really, really proud of that. Really, it's all about increasing effectiveness of an organization, whether that's a learning environment or not.
When you
Uh,
think about that, I mean, just that alone, it's not necessarily your competence that you bring. Everybody that got you into the role, but
Absolutely.
what will keep you there are those worthy characteristics, right? Of integrity and justice, and all of those things that are so important to creating the cultures within organizations that people want to be a part of. So the fact that you're taking that on very, very intentionally, I think shines differentiated. It just puts you in a different place altogether as well. So I appreciate you pointing that out.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Let's talk about the dissertation question because um, guaranteed. I mean, you're going to get some pushback. No dissertation. Well, what kind of quality is program do you have going on there? It's going to raise some eyebrows with some of our audience. Especially our higher ed folks that
Mhm.
spent years working on their long book report. Right? Make the case why this project-based capstone actually is more rigorous for practicing leader than less.
Sure. It's a great question. And really, what it comes down to, if you're listening, if you're considering earning a doctorate, it comes down to what you want to do at the end, right? So, the capstone project truly takes something. This is truly the assignment is okay, leader, what is going on in your organization? What problem exists in your organization that you want to tackle? You will research that problem. You do a literature review, right? That's similar to the dissertation. You learn what research is out there and what others are saying. And then you design an intervention to help solve that problem that you're experiencing, that you've
Mm.
identified. And that's your capstone project. So when
So the
it's,
students get to choose that, correct?
oh, you choose your topic.
Yes.
Yes. The student
Yes.
chooses their topic, they research it, they come up with an intervention to solve the problem, and then they come up with how to assess whether or not their intervention was effective. And then they can turn around and apply that in their job right away. So it's different than the dissertation which it has a lot of value if you want a tenure track position or you want to work at a research university. But if you are a practicing leader and a capstone project is more appealing because you want to turn around and use it right away at work, and you're not interested in publishing and adding to the field of knowledge and things of that nature, then the capstone project is absolutely the way to go.
What kind of feedback have you received from students that have done the capstone, um, and perhaps from an appreciative lens of, I know other of my colleagues at work that did the other traditional route? What's the interplay there between
Sure.
those that have done the capstone in terms of overall value?
Well, I could speak for experience. I did a traditional dissertation, and I'm jealous of this capstone project.
Yeah.
I get to see students present their capstone projects, and it's so fascinating because it's so tangible, it's so real. You know, it's financial stewardship, and it's um, learning assessment, and it's organizational effectiveness, and it's the things that we as leaders deal with every single day. It's
Yeah.
not so much the theory or adding a new methodology to the environment. So it's really truly that applicability and that relevance, I think, that helps make it shine.
It passes the Monday morning sniff test,
Oh, it sure
right?
does.
In terms of just you need to be studying things that can actually have practical value to the operational nature of your job.
Absolutely.
So good.
Absolutely.
So good. Let's just talk about the cohort piece,
Sure.
right? The cohort question. You've got maybe some K-12 people in there, but you also have business leaders and maybe presidents and nonprofit leaders and leaders that are coming from all over different sectors. Why
Yeah.
does it make sense having kind of this integrated mix where there's not a whole lot of job alikeness in the
Yeah.
cohort?
Well, I think that's one of our strengths, actually, because if you get a cohort of all like-minded folks in the same job, all you get is affirmation, right? So we really appreciate the differences in the room. We can tackle things from different angles. We can offer different perspectives from different positions and different industries. That creative and innovative thinking is what leaders today are required to have,
Yeah.
especially in world. Not that the world has changed so much, in the fact of change is the only constant, but it seems like any more change is happening faster than ever. So we really appreciate that our folks come from different walks of life, and that adds to the strength of our program and what we can learn from each other.
Isn't it more about perspectives today than anything else?
It sure
I
is.
mean, especially I grew up within the very traditional system. You become myopic to how the world really works. But
Yeah.
I've had, since stepping out in 2013, I've had the opportunity to work with leaders that are doing much different work, and how they go about creating a communication system, how they go about creating aligning their goods and services across. It may be a little bit different than what I've experienced, and just being able to pull that value from different sectors. I can't imagine. Again, I'm jealous. I'm
Yeah.
jealous. I can't
Right.
imagine just the value that must bring. The investment. So you mentioned 39 credits, uh,
Yes.
for real, 2 years.
2 years. Yeah. 2 years. So how we do that, because that does seem a little
Yeah,
confusing, because you're doing the math, right?
yeah.
39.
What's the shell game here? I'm looking
Yeah.
at.
What's really neat is that, again, going along with adult learning theory, what we do is we take the information, and we take they're all 3 credit courses, and we compress them into 8-week terms. So you're taking one course a term, and that allows us to do the 39 credits in 2 years. So essentially, you eat, sleep, and breathe that course for 8 weeks, and then you're on to your next one. So not only is it practical and relevant, but it moves along pretty quickly.
Hmm.
So I think that's another kind of a neat thing about our program. If it was a semester, we would be going much longer than 2 years, or you'd have to double up on credits. But this is really focused topics for 8 weeks at a time, and of course the topics and curriculum scaffolds across the program. So your learning builds and grows until your capstone project at the end.
So juxtaposed from a traditional system where I can remember a very busy week, and I would put, okay, over the weekend, a certain chunk of time where I'm going to be working on coursework
Mhm.
and maybe starting to write a little bit. This seems like it's a bit more metronomic. Like, no, there's something you're probably doing a little bit uh, every day, perhaps. I mean, thinking about just a Tuesday night on month 4, this,
Mhm.
the work is continuous, so it's
Yeah.
not like you get this free pass. The work is still very, very rigorous,
It
right?
is, very much so. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, with the doctoral program, every credit hour equates to 13 instructional hours. So a 3-credit course is 39 instructional hours. So if you can imagine sitting in a classroom, although ours is all online, you
Yep.
would be in the classroom for 39 hours over the course of the term. So that, again, is done in an online environment asynchronously, so you do it at your pace. There are deadlines you must adhere to, but there's not a live time we all have to get on at once, so time zones, don't really matter. You can study from anywhere. We have a number of international students
So it
even.
really has a global reach.
We do have a global reach,
Oh,
yes.
wow. Wow,
Yeah,
wow, wow.
yeah, that's another one of our strengths, of course. But in addition to the instructional hours where you're learning and you're consuming information and you're also part of that knowledge and information sharing, we recommend at least 3 hours per credit hour outside of the classroom. So all of that to say, I'll do the math for you. You're averaging about 10 to 15 hours per week for your studies for our
Yep.
ED program.
Yep. I'm
Yeah,
not gonna pair that with, the amount of TV watched by our, but the research is pretty clear that most people have margin in their lives, where they're not working out or working, right?
right.
Or they might be able to invest in something like this. Let's talk about the right fit question,
Sure,
right? If you could describe the leader that is like the perfect profile for this
sure,
executive EDD program, what would that leader look like?
sure. That leader is somebody who has been leading for 5 to 10 years. They're mid to senior level leaders. Again, in any organization, because our Doctor of Education is in leadership. Okay, it's not just education.
Right?
We have core courses in organizational leadership and education and inquiry and applied practice. So that leader can be in any organization, and it's a leader who's already exemplified leadership. It's not like somebody who isn't already a leader, right?
Mhm.
But what we're doing is we're sharpening your skills. We're helping you make decisions through an equity and culturally responsive lens. We are helping you develop, design, improve your organization, and really starting to develop frameworks that work, that really are applicable and that work. And so the ideal candidate is somebody who, again, wants to keep learning, wants to keep growing, wants to give back to their community or organization to help really transform it and themselves and the people that are belonging to it.
My
And
guess.
that's another Lassallean,
There it
that's
is.
Lassallean value. It's the transformation.
There it is. On the flip side, what's the wrong, right? The wrong fit question. Who shouldn't be interested in a program like this?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think it's a really important question. So, who shouldn't enroll in this program? If you are somebody who wants to publish and add to the field of knowledge, and you want to teach at a institution, research university, you should not you should not get the EDD with a capstone project at the end. You should probably go for the traditional dissertation route, which you can still do in an EDD program or a
Right.
PhD program.
Right, right.
So that's a major differentiator. It's really important for when I talk to prospective students to help tell me your goals. Let's figure out which program is the best for you. It's not for the faint of heart. This is a lot of work in a short amount of time, right? It doesn't make it easier. It makes it a lot of work in a short amount of time. So we do have to have folks who have that 10 to 15 hours a week capability to spend, because it is challenging stuff. So that's another thing that we really want to make sure students embark on this with the right amount of a realistic preparation for
That's
themselves.
really what it is. To come into this with eyes wide open,
Yes,
clear understanding of what it is, but also clear understanding of what the benefits are going to be on the other side.
that's
One of
it.
my best books over there is called The One Thing. The One Thing, right? So if a leader takes one thing from this conversation today and then acts on it this week, it's not what we agree with, right? It's actually what we do about what we agree with. That is
Mhm.
the most important thing, isn't it?
It is.
So what should that one thing be? If somebody's stirred where they
Yeah,
say this has some value that I'd like to really dig into.
yeah.
What's that next thing?
That's a great question. I would tell somebody if they're thinking about embarking on the doctorate, if they want to learn more, you can go to our program page. You can do that all day long. We'll put links out there. But instead of doing that, I would encourage the leader to take 30 minutes to themselves and jot down a problem that they're facing at work right now. Write it down, get it on
Mm,
paper, get it out of your
mm,
head, write it down. And write down the data you have at your fingertips, what you know at your fingertips, and then write down what you don't know and what might be helpful. Maybe write down the key stakeholders as part of the problem. Just start making some notes about this problem and then step back and really reflect on it. If this type of thinking energizes you, if that type of activity set, gets you feeling like, oh, I really need to learn more. Oh, I really want to know, what this organization would say about it or this best practice, then the EDD might be right for you. It's a line of thinking, it's a way to really sharpen your decision making skills and your effectiveness in your organization. And that line of thinking is exactly what's embedded in our curriculum.
mm. Katie, this has been exactly what I had really hoped it would be in this exchange. Straight talk, right?
Yeah,
No fluff. Um, and I think our prospective students out there, leaders out there that are looking for a high demand program like this, that's what they deserve. So um, here's what I want our audience really to hold on to. I think it's the question, right? I love that protocol. I'm going to take that to note in different areas of my life. But the
right,
question isn't whether the advanced leadership development matters. We know that it does,
right.
and traditional or non-traditional. Your board probably knows that it does. Your cabinet already feels it. The question is whether you're going to invest that 2 years, right, in a program designed for who you actually are. You're an
That's right.
overcapacity leader that has a realistic understanding of what is, possible in this season of my life, right? Or you can be that person that just keeps saying someday,
Right.
someday,
Hmm.
someday. So I hope that we really poked a number of people out there to say, hey, this seems like it's a very very practical way, and I'm going to have the supports on the inside to help me step this thing out, even though my life might be a little bit crazy, right?
Right. That's right.
So how do
Absolutely.
people learn more? You've got a number of resources that people can be drawn into, but what would you advocate right now?
Yeah, sure. Well, beyond checking out the website and things of that nature, we also have an amazing admissions team that you can meet with, talk to. My door is always open as program director. Please reach out. You can email me, kmcgowan@smumn.edu. I love to meet with prospective students. It's one of my favorite things about the job. Let's talk about your goals. I'll straight shoot you. If our program isn't for you, I will tell you that, I promise. Because again, this isn't for the faint of heart, and we
Yeah.
all deserve the right program fit. So please reach out. I'm happy to answer any questions and engage in conversation.
Thanks for being real with us today.
Yeah, no problem.
This
Always.
is exactly what the live is for. Folks, I'm Dr. Joe, and we'll see you next week. Peace.